I'm Heyzeus, and in this video, I'm going to be looking at the most profitable trade up I've ever done. A trade up that's been long kept in the dark, a trade up based on secret knowledge which I ran in the shadows for years before I became a YouTuber. It's an odd story, but I want to explain it. Now, this video is sponsored by Skinport, the easy to use skins marketplace where you can sell your skins for real cash. More about them later. Now, there's a skin in CSGO called the M4A4 Daybreak. It's a fairly old skin at this point. It was released in 2015 and it's famous for the fact that even in the best possible condition you can get it in, it looks like it's been scraped across the cement. Seriously, this is the best conditioned Daybreak in the entire game, and look at this garbage. So as a result, getting this skin in a really good condition is important because otherwise it looks like a completely battered piece of trash. So there's always been a big market for Daybreaks in good condition. They get a lot of overpay. As it is, it's about $100 US for one of these things these days, and a really good condition Daybreak, well, that can easily be worth twice as much. But if you went looking for Daybreaks in a really good condition on CSGO Exchange, you might notice something a little bit weird. You see, a whole bunch of them seem to be able to be traced back to this really dodgy looking profile with a picture of Xi Jinping, like there's a stack of them. And it's not just Daybreaks either. There's this Desert Eagle in the Rising Sun collection called the Sunset Storm, and weirdly enough, there's a whole bunch of these things, also in really good conditions, that can be traced back to the Xi Jinping guy as well. And there's also this skin in the Rising Sun collection called the Neon Kimono. And again, a bunch of them can be traced back to this Xi Jinping bloke. And I've got to come clean with you guys. This isn't actually Xi Jinping. This is actually my profile. These are my skins. I crafted them. I crafted a lot of them. And the trade up I used to do it was the most profitable I've ever come across. Now, I kept this trade up a secret for ages, but given I revealed it in a recent video, I'm going to explain how it worked. So, first of all, this was not some insane high risk, high return trade up. That's not how you make the big bucks with trade up contracts. It was a simple trade up based on an exploit that I could spam endlessly, and it relied, in many respects, on the fact that I knew something other people didn't. So, this is the trade up itself. 1 mil-spec Rising Sun collection skin, and 9 filler skins. There was a low float version with the acid fade, that's how I created the skins you saw earlier, and there was a cheaper low end version as well, and I often use the Desert Eagle Meteorite for that. And this might look like an extremely high risk trade up, but it's not as high risk as you might think. You see, there's an exploit in the trade up contract that essentially allows you to rig it in favour of a skin with more possible outcomes in its collection. And as a collection with 4 restricted skins, you could really take advantage of this with the Rising Sun collection. With only 1 Rising Sun skin, you had a 30% chance of getting a Rising Sun outcome, which could make you anything from a 200% to a 700% profit. Now, this trick is well known these days, which has had some consequences. So, during Operation Shattered Web, for example, there was a big opportunity to do similar sorts of trade-ups with the new Operation skins. So, what you do is you'd use 1 or 2 skins from an Operation collection, so let's say a Copper Boar from the Norse collection, and 9 filler skins. So we'll use Desert Eagle Meteorites. Now, this trade-up will give you a 25% chance of getting a skin from the Norse collection, which ideally would work out, although it didn't here. But the point is, there was so much demand for the new skins in the Operation collections that people were doing these trade-ups to the point where we actually started to run out of these filler skins. Some of them almost tripled in price during the operation. But back when I was doing this Rising Sun trade up, it was a very different story. You see, when I figured out how to do this trade up in early 2016, this exploit with the trade up contract wasn't well known. Not many people knew about it, even less people understood it. It was intentionally being kept quiet. So there wasn't that much competition, and that was really good for me. I mean, first of all, it meant the skins I was using were cheap. A Desert Eagle Meteorite or an SSG Acid Fade, 2 of my favourite filler skins, are about $1.10 US these days. But back when I was doing this trade up, they were more like 40 cents tops, there was nowhere near as many people competing with me for these skins, so I could buy them really easily and at really good prices. Secondly, because there wasn't that many people doing this trade up, it meant I had really good profit margins. So the Rising Sun skins I was using as inputs were cheaper, and the skins I was selling were more expensive because there wasn't that many other people crafting them. But on top of all of that, I had one extra thing going in my favour. You see, I did this trade up from early 2016 to early 2018, and during this period, although CSGO had ups and downs, overall it had stagnated as a game and wasn't really growing. The market was pretty flat, public interest in skins definitely dropped, and believe it or not, this helped me because it meant there wasn't a stream of people coming into the game looking for ways to make money. I had a lot more territory to myself, and because of all of this, it was basically a dream trade-up. Cheap to do, like $4 to $5 a pop, you could do heaps of them, and the profit margins were really good. And it all pretty much came down to the fact that I was operating in the shadows. It worked, because relatively few people knew about it. Now, I did a count to try and figure out how many of these trade-ups I did over the years, and I found that I'd sold 146 daybreaks on OP skins and 44 on the Steam market. And if we assume the odds of getting the other Rising Sun skins are about equal, which they might not be actually, but we'll assume it is, I'll investigate that in another video. This means I would have hit about 760 of these trade-ups altogether, which in turn means that I've attempted about 2,475 of these trade-ups. So that's about 24,750 skins used in trade-ups altogether. Quite a few. And based on these numbers, as a rough guess, only a rough guess, I don't have the exact number, I think I probably ended up pocketing about $10,500 by cashing these things out through OP skins. As I said, it's an estimate, it isn't the true profit margin either, but I was deliberately using these things to cash out because, as I discussed at the start of the video, you could get a lot of overpay for them on OP skins. They were a big part of what I did with trade-ups, so big that it had life-changing consequences. And maybe not good ones. You see, I didn't work a part-time job while I was in university. Now, that's a very bad idea. I don't recommend copying my example. Obviously, there is a pandemic at the moment. Most countries don't have enough jobs available, but in normal times, when there are jobs available, you really should have one while you're studying. And even now, I'm still hanging on to my full-time job to the bitter end despite the fact that I could go full-time with my YouTube channel. But during university, I was lazy and decided to not get a job. And part of the reason I was able to justify it was the money I was making from skins. And a big part of that came back to this Rising Sun trade-up. Without it, I might actually have been forced to get off my lazy ass and get some real work experience. So there's some life-changing consequences. But on the bright side, it did also help fund a European holiday in 2017, and I've got very good memories of getting pissed at the Delirium Cafe, so there is that. But still, the tide eventually ran out on this trade-up. I got about 2 years out of it, early 2016 to early 2018, but the trade-up depended on having access to cheap Rising Sun skins to use as inputs. Now, I got a whole bunch of those in 2016 from Operation Wildfire, I got a whole bunch in 2017 from Operation Hydra, but after Operation Hydra ended, this collection was permanently discontinued, and as 2018 wore on, the skins I needed got more and more expensive, to the point where the trade-up became less viable. It was riskier, slower, and the margins weren't as good, so I gave it up. And I don't think a trade-up like this is possible anymore. The game has grown a lot. There's heaps more interest in skins, people know the exploits. What I did back in the day depended on the fact that people weren't as interested and weren't paying attention. But given how much of a better place CSGO is in these days, I don't think it's much of a loss. And honestly, I should have just gotten a job anyway. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, massively appreciated. And a big thank you to Skinport for sponsoring this channel. Skinport, formerly known as Skinbay, it's the same site. All that's changed is the name, is a skins marketplace and cash out site. It's safe, convenient, easy to use. It's got a super competitive sales fee of 5% if you put skinport.com in your username, a really, really low fee if you're looking to sell your skins. If you're looking to buy instead, it's got a ton of great deals with over 100,000 CSGO skins listed, as well as easy to use deposit and withdrawal options. Awesome site, check it out, link is in the description. Anyway, that's it from me. As always, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Heyzeus. Thanks for watching. See ya.